And now we'll just do a shop tour and tour my dad's tools. Pry bars, C-clamps, scrap metal bucket, halogen lights. You can drop the things 100 times and you won't break the bulb. That's why we use them, even if they do suck a ton of juice. Some wiring, some more fluid stuff, safety glasses. This is a really old toolbox here. Got files, some big chisels, punch and chisel drawer. This is a miscellaneous drawer. Got some easy outs, some other taps in here. Specialty little file sets. Test light. Got a MAP gas torch. Another welding helmet. Vice grips. They're not all here because we're always using them. See, more big ones. Love them things. Screwdrivers. These are all Craftsman sockets. The missing ones are in my dad's truck. These are a bunch of metric bolts and some other stuff from taking apart snowmobiles. This is a centering punch set. How these work: when you have a hole in something, this will go right in the hole, and then the punch thing is in the middle of it, so you can line it up on another piece that you want to put a hole through, so you can line it up perfectly centered. Very, very handy. A very good drill bit set. Had them for many years. There's only one missing in it. That's just old bolts. They get put in there. Hammers. Can never have too big a hammer. Pipe wrench. Jumbo wrenches. Those are just some cheap off-brand set that my dad bought back when he had his combine because he needed a bunch of big wrenches. Like I've said, my dad has never broken a cheap off-brand wrench. He's got how many sets of Craftsman? Like there's probably 4 Craftsman wrenches of each size in the smallers, some in the biggers. A couple metrics, extensions, bench grinder. You've seen this before, the homemade shop press. This drawer keeps the ratchets, some pliers, a bunch of different miscellaneous stuff, some extensions. Milwaukee work light, great tool. This is actually a John Deere grease gun. It's the only one my dad could find that had the flexible hose on it. Works a ton better than one that doesn't have the flex hose. Here's some of these cheapy snap ring pliers. Impact driver, those are very handy. 22 shells. Don't know why we keep the ammo in this drawer, but we do. Brake tool thing. I think we only used it once. Back there is all the links and stuff for roller chains. In here we got 4.5-inch Milwaukee grinder. Milwaukee tools, great tools. This is a really old Craftsman grinder, still works great. Really old Craftsman drill. Slide hammer, some Scotch-Brite pads. My dad's Chicago pneumatic impact and his air ratchet. Milwaukee drill. This is a Craftsman straight die grinder, an electric one. Milwaukee Sawzall. Here's some engine tools: timing light, compression, vacuum gauges, piston ring compressor. Underneath here is a floor jack, some hydraulic bottle jacks, other random stuff. That there is a heavy duty vise. If you wanted to buy a new one that opened that far and was that high a casting strength, it would be a $500 vise. This drawer is mostly all the hardware parts drawer. This drawer, some pegboard stuff, O-ring set, gauge set, a big, these are pipe taps, or pipe dies I should say, not taps. Those are a bunch of 12-point Craftsman sockets. That's other Taiwanese sockets. You always got to have some of them around because you always end up chopping them up and doing stuff with them. This is my dad's metric sockets. There's more under there on the thing. Welding rods, some of them. Soldering stuff. This is just a parts drawer. It's got snowmobile parts from snowmobiles, and this is Moline parts. Here's more parts and different supplies. Welding bench. That thing works great, especially for putting like snowmobiles on top of it to work on. There's a vise for that underneath it. We have a big Milwaukee 9-inch grinder down there. Scott shop towels, those are great. And for blowguns, these siphon feed blast guns work really good. This Arctic Cat I have to rebuild the track on because it wore through. And I'm sad. I'm the owner of a Polaris, but it runs great, so I'll drive anything that runs great and works good. Shop hoist. This is our sink setup in here. The hose works real nice. These cabinets are all full of all kinds of stuff. Got chainsaws. Here's where all the fluids are. Gas cans down below. Jack stands. They get used all the time so they never get put away. Some Milwaukee Sawzall. Over here we get into some woodworking tools. Milwaukee drill. Here's our bolt bin setup. Got them all sorted by sizes. Carriage bolts are down below. Got some cabinets there behind the door. This is where we keep our phone. Sledgehammers, gotta have them. And we got big bars and stuff like that. And the part of the shop that I really don't spend much time in unless I'm working on something down here. This is the wood shop. It's kind of been invaded by storage and other. Drill press. Brother's toolbox. It's an old 72 Yamaha snowmobile I'm working on. This is a parts washer we just bought. We got to get fluid for it yet. Our four-wheeler, these two four-wheelers, the Oliver with the snowblower we just fixed. If you go back here, this is where the Moline's kept. Joiner, another work spot. That's all wood storage. Good old John Deere. Then we'll head into what was the finished room, and it kind of got invaded and turned into storage. Here's our big metal rack. The torch with a Smith torch. The best torch made. Smith torches. They're not cheap, kind of like Snap-on isn't cheap, but they're really good. There's the seat off that snowmobile. Anvil. That's a welding rod storage cabinet full of specialty welding rods. Little bolts and different stuff. There's the pump for the shop press. The hoses just go through the wall. Shop vac. That you guys haven't seen. We have to get a new blade for it because we wrecked the one that's in it, but it's an Ellis metal bandsaw. It works really great. That's where the used oil goes. This is our Lincoln Electric welder. These are snowmobile parts that we're currently selling. An old air compressor that we have. There's where the Quincy new one that we have is. That's where the in-floor heat room is. In here, There's my welder. Another Sawzall. Some other just stuff up there, some chains and come-alongs. This is a tap set. It's in a block. Bunch of big hex keys. More taps. Air hose reel that we haven't got hooked up. Drill bit sets. More drill bits. This is the box for that Craftsman electric die grinder. This is full of rags, because you always need rags. That's a big paint sprayer that we use to paint our shed. Then I'm going to dig this box out right here just to show you it. It's an SK 3/4 inch standard socket set. These are beautiful tools. My dad bought these for working on that combine. So, that's our shop. We have the shed that's full of stuff yet too, but and we come right back to where we started. We're still constantly buying and investing in tools because there's always another tool to do the job, get it done better and faster. Another halogen light. That's a KEW pressure washer. That is a $2,500 pressure washer, and the reason it's so expensive, it's an industrial model, and the motor in there, when it's running, as soon as you let go of the trigger on the gun, the motor actually clears itself out of water, the pumps thing. So no water will stay in there and freeze if it sits out in the cold and it gets cold. So you won't wreck that thing. You just got to make sure you keep it topped off with oil. It doesn't use any, but you got to check it once in a while. That's a big drum sander, radial arm saw. These drawers here are just full of woodworking tools. Along with the bench there, there's all kinds of big long pipe clamps under there. This cabinet here is all full of woodworking tools. Nailers. Then there's these are quick clamps from, I believe they're made by the same people that make vice grips, yep. And they're just a clamp. You use the handle and they tighten up. They're not cheap, but they're really good clamps. Bungee strap that we broke. Big dust collector. Our old little air compressor. It's a roll air compressor. They are tough air compressors. And this is an old Sony boombox. Used to be in our barn back when we were on the farm. That thing is really old, but it is a great stereo. These are ATV ramps. One of our battery chargers. The other one's out in the shed, I believe. That one's a big Craftsman Sears one that's got a starter mode on it. Some old hubcaps that have to be sold. Bunch of Craftsman tape measures. Well, that's our shop. It's a 30 by 80 shop. We got the solar panel on the end if you've ever seen my other videos. That's a 40 by 100 Quonset shed.